The City of Maumee investigation report.
Morning, sorry. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's going to take me some time to get used to that. Today I want to draw your attention to tab OB1, which is the investigation report for the Maumee Building Department. I wanted to note before I present this that the report was sent to the parties involved with the report, with the investigation, and that you will find received comments from them under Appendix A of the report. Board staff received a complaint in September from Ms. Megan Bremer, owner of the residence located at 321 West Broadway Street in Maumee, Ohio. It was a proposal to remove an existing foundation and to install a new foundation system to an existing residential structure. For some context, in review of the code enforcement that occurred for this project from the building department, I wanted to provide the following. The following phases for code enforcement requirements were addressed. Specifically, applications were made for approvals, plan reviews were conducted, an approval or permit was issued for the project, and work was commenced and initial progress inspections were performed. Items that were outstanding as of the date of the investigation were the following items that were not addressed yet: completion of project inspections, final inspections, and certificate of occupancy or certificate of completion issued to the owner. Board staff had interviewed building department staff members Zachary Jenkins, Mark Westcott, and Bruce Wholf, who were recently retired. The following observations were noted. Approved construction documents were submitted but had limited technical information to describe the scope of the work. This would have required the designer, in this case the contractor, to clarify the precise aspects of the design that would have demonstrated compliance to the Residential Code of Ohio. Another point to the process was that procedurally the documents were not endorsed with a stamp or signature of the building official, which at that time would have been Mr. Wholf. Progressive inspections were completed. There was an exception where in February 1 of 2018, the inspection record noted deficiencies to the approved construction documents. Those items were identified during the inspection record. They were legitimate issues that the inspector brought up, but the correct protocol and the only real recourse allowed by the building code was not exercised for Residential Code of Ohio section 108.6.2, which is dealing with the basically errors or omissions in the construction documents. The building official should have communicated to the owner and to the representative in that case would have been the contractor, communicated to them as a recommended change, meaning that the construction documents were deficient. The conclusion of our investigation, board staff had made the following determinations. Plan examination was inadequate and included deficiencies that were not noted during plan review. Plan examiner should have required the contractor or the representative for the owner to revise and resubmit the documents until code compliance was achieved. Secondly, inspections were properly done, but Mr. Westcott's additional comments of non-compliance should have been enforced by the building official as a notice of recommended change instead of what appeared to be an incorrectly filled out adjudication order. The previous building official, Bruce Wholf, had failed to properly administer the enforcement actions of the building department, including staff duties and responsibilities, and the issuance of certificates of plan approvals and adjudication orders to allow the owner legal rights to appeal. Further, Mr. Wholf also incorrectly delegated his responsibility to issue orders for violations to other building department personnel. There was a lack of clear communication and evidence of passive enforcement aided in the breakdown in the administration of the enforcement of this project. In summary, the enforcement of the Maumee Residential Building Department of this project did not consistently follow the board's rules on administration, which is Residential Code, Chapter 1. To note, though, that since the retirement of Mr. Wholf, the now current building official, Zach Jenkins, has proactively begun to address these issues. He's addressed the deficiencies in revising existing forms so that they're consistent with the current board's packet, or the resource packet, which would be all forms for the enforcement of the code. And also he's revising the enforcement protocols to align with the Residential Code of Ohio's administration requirements. So we make the following recommendations based on these conclusions. Board staff recommends closing the investigation, first off, and for the board to consider disciplinary action against residential building official certification of Mr. Wholf for the violations set forth in the report. Board staff also recommends the board to consider additional continuing education requirements in the residential plan examination certification of Zach Jenkins, and for his renewal of his residential building official certification to complete those requirements. And lastly, in addition, board staff recommends the building department audit be conducted within 180 days from the closing of the investigation to verify that the changes that the department is already implementing will ensure compliance with board certification and administration rules.
Well, Mr. Chairman, after review of the investigation report 19-02 and correspondence received from Mr. Wholf, Ms. Bremer, and Mr. Idle, I move to accept the staff recommendations regarding Zachary Jenkins for the violations set forth in the report, to close the investigation, and to direct staff to conduct a residential building department audit within 180 days. I further move to place Mr. Wholf's residential building official certification on probation for 6 months and require attendance to day 2 of the Ohio Building Code Academy or Code Academy 2.0 before expiration of this probation. Required education is in addition to the required 30 hours required to renew certification.
Second.
So the motion has been seconded. Any questions, comments? Rob, will you be the one doing that investigation?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?